So here's the full Total War 40k tutorial mission from the Gamescom demo, with this narrative intro cutscene first of all.
The galaxy burns. There is no peace amongst the stars. They flicker like a million candles holding back the night. Some will falter, some will fade. A few will linger on, their worlds worthy of protection. The Emperor's left hand sends for his angels. Courageous, dutiful, but ignorant of the trials to come. A journey is required. These warriors must seek the light before they can safeguard it. For if they fail, the candle they hope to shield, and many others, will be extinguished.
Cogitation protocols initializing. Nodal link established. Fleet modules online. Synchronizing crew data of the Emperor's Torch.
What is our status, Fernand?
Captain Halsor has made planetfall and awaits our arrival on Umbral Prime.
Very well. Commence mission protocols.
Cogitating. Decrypting mission objectives. Ident seals verified. An inquisitorial petition for aid. Operation Illumination. An inquisitorial vessel named the Sagacity has been lost, presumed crashed. It was transporting cargo of extreme importance to the Imperium.
What cargo?
Data has been redacted. It must be recovered at all costs. Arrival imminent, Lord.
Prepare for real space re-entry.
Translation complete. Ship systems operating within acceptable efficiency parameters. Thank the machine god. Entering orbit of Umbral Prime. Establishing box link with our strike detachment.
Captain Halsor, have you located the crash site? Coordinates have been confirmed. It lies to the east. Then we are close.
Alright, so as you hopefully got from that cutscene, there's an inquisitorial ship that's gone down, it's crashed, there's some important cargo on it, and those cheeky orcs have nicked it, so we're gonna go and get it back. So this is the first portion of the game you got to play at the Gamescom demo. This is me moving around. This is literally my first time doing anything, so I'm trying to figure everything out. I'm just following the tutorial prompts. Now, maybe you saw my video the other day, or maybe this is your first Warhammer 40k video about the campaign, and you've just seen that, hey, it's like a total war game with campaign map, and you're moving around it with your little army. Classic. It's a little bit simplified in ways, but for the most part, we get the idea. Obviously, this is an early build, so things may change from this anyway. There's kind of an action point system rather than a movement range, which is a little bit weird. You can see in the bottom left it says action points, and I can seemingly move any distance up to a limit of how far I want to move, and that uses the action point. So if I only move a little bit or whether I move a lot, it still just uses that one action point. So that's functioning a little bit differently. It's almost like you've got two lots of 50% movement range and you can just use them separately, but you can use as much as you like of each 50%. Now we're moving up towards the crashed ship where there is an orc army there we're going to have to deal with. The Snazbraggers, they've stolen the precious cargo from the ship that belongs to the Imperium. And any second now, I'm going to stop listening to Chapter Master Septine and engage this army right about now. No. There we go. So we see a familiar battle screen here, very similar to any other Total War game. Very nice. I do actually quite like this new UI where it's two rows of troops, one below the other. It's that way in battle, and it's honestly felt pretty natural. I haven't really been bothered by it, even though it's different from every other Total War game ever. But as a great man once said, it just works. But here's me mousing over pretty much everything. I'm trying to discover everything I can about every little tooltip and icon, so I'm just trying to look at everything at the moment. Command limit, biome, mode, annihilation. I look forward to seeing what the other modes are as well, and while I am trying to mouse over everything, there is things I forget to click, which is annoying me now that I'm watching it. I'm like, why didn't I click that? This is a nice little feature though. When you mouse over the map, it enlarges it so you can actually see where you're fighting. That's very nice, but anyway, shut up, let's go. I'm actually going to leave the load screen in. Normally I edit these out so you don't have to just stare at them, but there's actually some stuff to read, so enjoy that. Pause it if you wish, because it might end. My cogitation is going to come to an end pretty quick. I was playing this remotely, by the way, so I wasn't playing this on my PC, thus I can't speak to performance. Anyway, mission, shh.
Captain, secure the wreckage of the Inquisitor's vessel. Alien interference cannot be tolerated. Purge the orcs.
So, first thing you've hopefully gathered from any footage of this game, you've seen that it's pretty much nailing the setting goddamn well. The visuals, the sound, the audio, the voice work, it's all pretty zogging great, as it is in Warhammer 3. And here's me trying to get my first peep on some Space Marines up close. One annoying thing about this build is that it doesn't have the cinematic smoothing on the camera, so the camera is very jerky and all over the place, rather than nice and smooth like the Warhammer 3 camera, so that was a little bit annoying. But here's the crashed ship that we need to go and investigate, and we've seen this map before previously. CA have shown this off a little bit, and it is obviously a very open map, so not really a ton of cover to use here. There's a little bit just down the hill there, and I guess around the ship itself. So it is nice to see that variety though, to have a bit more of an open map. Although if you look down at the minimap, there is a lot of little choke points around and a big one between the middle of the ship. So there are parts of the map to make tactical use of. And I'm about to make my first movements with the units here. We've got 3 units of intercessors and then a captain unit as well, leading the army. In terms of unit responsiveness, it seemed pretty good from what I played. I didn't notice any instances of me giving an order and then my unit taking 3 or so seconds to actually do it, like sometimes happens in Warhammer 3. So currently seems like a non-issue in this game at least. My Space Marine boys moving up. I was just trying to move them up with Alt left mouse button drag, which is how you move units in formation in Warhammer 3, but looking at the controls here, that doesn't really seem to be an option and didn't seem to work. Hopefully that's just a demo thing and that hasn't been somehow removed from the game, or maybe it's been moved to a different hotkey. As long as I can move it back there, I'm probably happy. Although maybe I might need to use that for something else, because there's obviously going to be more buttons in this game to do with, like the strafe mode. You're going to have to find a place for that now. You've got the sentry mode. These are the kind of things I want on hotkeys. But here comes the Orcses coming through the middle of the ship, having a good old time getting blown up by something. So this is a load of slugger boys coming to get us. Whoa there, son. None of that. This is a demo that's supposed to make the game look good. Stop it. Let's go forward. Okay, everything's perfect. Everything's working as it should. Oh, Christ. They're all going off. All right, let's back up. Let's back up. You saw nothing. It's an alpha, all right? Shut up. So just a few slugger boys coming to get us, and you'll see the kind of line of sight zones that are at the edges of the orcs here, those greeny lines. So there's a bit more of a visual on the line of sight so you know exactly where it ends, which is, I think, pretty useful. But my boys are ready to go here. They're on fire at will. The orcs are about to come into range and they're going to start doing their business. I'm checking out all the buttons down here. But in this case, not a lot to do but to wait. If I'd known how to do it at the time, I probably would have strafed and started walking backwards while my boys are firing, so we can keep damaging the enemy whilst keeping the distance between them a little bit. And we saw what looked like a grenade launcher go off there from one of my boys. That must just be a specialist in the unit. As my Total War reflexes kick in, I do start moving one of my units round to a flanking angle, but here's some cinematic action. So again, safe to say, visually, audibly, everything is sounding, looking pretty damn great. Also, the sort of ragdolls of the orcs dying looked pretty good and pretty natural as well. But more orcs approaching here, and we're being told to get into cover, that little bit of cover just down the hill, so I'm going to start to move down there. I am going to keep my one unit flanking out wide though, as my Total War genes tell me to. So we got a little bit of cover here. We can see adds 10% resistance, 20% evasion, 10% accuracy. I assume this would be considered light cover as it's pretty low in terms of sandbags and things. It's not like a big building, so going to make use of that as we're being shot at by the flash gits over there. They're of course pretty dangerous in the ranged department. But when you do drag your units in a cover area, it does kind of show you where they're going. I'm not sure whether they necessarily need to be behind something, or just as long as they're in this area, they'll get the bonus of cover, even if they're essentially stood in the open. That might be something to test in future anyway, although I do wonder if cover gets destroyed. Does it get completely destroyed, or does like heavy cover get destroyed down to light cover and then destroyed down to no cover, or does a little bit of cover always remain? Whatever the case, we need some goddamn cover right now. That's a lot of flashy git dakka coming our way, but we're given the damage back, and we've got our flanking unit, which they're not shooting at, so the flanking, well, they are shooting at them a little bit, the edge units, but the flanking unit doing a little bit of work there as well. And you may have just noticed there it said heavy flanking above my unit, which is weird because we're not actually being flanked, so not sure what's going on there. There is the suppression system in this game as well, which we were taking a bit of when we weren't in cover, but the cover should protect us from that a bit. Calling down some assault marines now. I am going to try and plonk them right on the head of the flash gits because, you know, I think the drop pod would do some damage, but it doesn't seem to let me. The markers seem to go yellow, whereas when I do it now, any second now, come on me, figure it out. Okay, about now, I'm going to put it in front of the units, and the markers are going to be blue, and I am allowed to do it. So, not sure if you can drop pods on enemies, or maybe I just pressed the wrong button there, but my assault marines coming down now to finish the job. They are going to come in the drop pods, of course, and those drop pods do have a little gun on them, so they will do a bit of damage to the enemy as well. They're going to start shooting them. Got to get those orders on nice and quick. Let's enjoy more cinematics.
We're taking fire from both sides.
And with that, the flash kits are done. I am enjoying the body persistence of this. We see the blood as well. No blood DLC here. It's already in the game. What a time to be alive, eh? We're going to start moving through this gap in the ship now, though, to get to the other side. And so far, so good. Not taking too much damage, which one would hope in a tutorial, but we're moving through the ship. And you can see here the line of sight marker zones. They are going to grow as we move forward, as more is revealed to us. I do like this. I think it is good to be able to see exactly where you can see so that nothing sneaks up on you, because these maps obviously are very large. It can be easy for things to be a little bit hidden. That does happen in Warhammer 3 sometimes, I think, where it looks like you've got line of sight, but you actually don't, and then something just comes out of nowhere. So I think that's nice, but maybe it's a thing that'll be toggleable, so if you don't like it, maybe you prefer just a kind of seamless fog of war like Warhammer 3, you can maybe have that. So we're reaching the other side of the ship. Just going to admire some of my handiwork so far though, and I'm actually going to freeze frame here because I've only just noticed how good the blood on the ground looks. How much more natural does it look now than Warhammer 3, where it's just pools of ketchup everywhere. That's actually looking vastly improved in this situation. Maybe a little bit too much blood on the orcs themselves, but hopefully that's got a slider like in Warhammer 3. So that's looking great, as much as it pains me to see dead orcs, but we're reaching the other side now, and there is orcs on the horizon. Over to the left, we can see a bunch of orcs coming in, and now I'm going to be taught how to use my bombardment. And this did seem to be something that was quite a big part of the Space Marine game. In this demo, I'm going to guess I was given more barrages than I would have at the start of a campaign. You probably won't have much, right? You might have one, and then you can upgrade it and maybe get more uses of it and get the other types of barrage and orbital strikes and whatever. But the visual for this is pretty intuitive. It's kind of a loading bar showing you when the attack is going to go off. So it's all about timing with these. And ready for me to mess this up. There we go. Completely missed the action. So I was trying to turn around. I could hear the jets coming, so I thought let's try and look at the jets and watch them as they come in. But they went absolutely whizzing by. So apologies for the camera spaz out and the missing of the explosive action. But in all my attention being paid to the left, I've actually been flanked on the right. So the orcs have snuck up behind me, essentially. I'm going to have to quickly scramble to be ready to face them. Going to send my assault marines over to meet them ideally. I am going to engage them head on first of all, but then I change my mind because I want to try and hit them from both sides so that I sandwich the two units and kind of leave a firing lane for all these other units to just keep blasting away at them, which is sort of working, but I'm going to pull back a little bit anyway. But it does feel pretty good in terms of the factions feeling different from each other, because the orcs do swarm you and they do just get all over you as Space Marines, so trying to set up a lot of tactics and things doesn't really necessarily work so well because there's often so many damn orcs. But of course, every single Space Marine is probably worth about 100 orcs, so it's all evened out really. Lining up a few of my boys back here at a distance so they can keep firing. My captain's facing the wrong way. Wake up, lads. Getting these slugger boys sorted out, and then hopefully we can get our cargo back, defeat both waves of orcs. So is this the second wave or the first wave? I'm not sure. But turns out it's the first wave because there's more orcs a-coming. This is something I actually missed while playing the game. You see it says morale in the center of the screen, and on the top right now it says learn more about morale. I completely missed that, and I've only seen that now watching the footage back, so I wish I'd clicked that button because morale is something I don't fully understand in this game yet. And of course, I'm taking in the fucking scenery rather than reading about morale, which I should be doing. But there we go. Morale, though, seeming like it's going to be something for the orcs, I guess the Astra Militarum as well. And as for the Eldari, of course, they're elves, so they are genetically cowardly, so we know that they're going to run away from everything. But trying to line up these last Orkies, there is a commander unit that it's telling me to get rid of to affect the morale of all the other units. It's actually nice that it's called morale again in this game, like it used to be in older Total Wars, which I guess is obviously because of tabletop, but in Warhammer 3 it's obviously called leadership, which is just a bit more of a mouthful of a word than morale. That's a plus as a content creator anyway, when things are easier to say. Words can be hard. But getting into my last bunch of orcs now, dropping some cluster bombs over on this side. My assault marines are on the wrong side. They do get jetpacks eventually. You can get assault intercessors with jump packs. I assume maybe that's an upgrade or a customization thing that you can add, because they are in the other battle of this demo. But in this case, we've got the ones without jump packs. All these intercessor units do have a run ability, which I haven't realized at this point in me playing the game, but they can get a little speed boost, so you can get them to close distance a little bit quicker. It also improves their accuracy, I think. But we're throwing down with this last group of orcs now. In terms of animations in melee combat, they mostly look pretty good. There's a lot going on, and with a lot of orcs, it's really hard to see anything terribly clearly, but it's looking on par with Warhammer 3 at least. No synced animations that I've noticed. Might be wrong though, maybe they're in there. Maybe they're in there with the characters and the bigger units perhaps. Got a nice little flanking position here on this blob of orcs, shooting them all in the back and sides, and that should be hopefully nearly the end of them. I don't think I've actually properly taken out the Lord that I was supposed to take out to try and break their morale. But we pretty much got this in the bag now, so we've defeated the orcs. We're assumedly going to get the cargo. I don't actually get to find out because the mission is going to end and just say thanks for playing in a minute. But I did enjoy this tutorial and the little bit of narrative that was with it, and I am curious to know what the cargo was, and do I have to do anything else with this cargo? Do I need to try and get it back to a certain planet? Is there going to be more to this tutorial campaign? Feels like it could be. They did say the tutorials were going to be kind of narrative experiences like the one in Warhammer 3. So looking forward to that. They did mention it's going to be something to do with Armageddon and Yarrick and Gazskull, so maybe it's something completely different than this, but for a little tutorial this is fine. It's obviously for Gamescom, so they're trying to get people who have never played Total War before to actually be somewhat competent at the game, so this has introduced the game well enough, I think, at a simple level. But even for an experienced player like myself, there's still so much to understand about the combat and how the stats work and the units work and the weapons work. It's just a lot to take in, but I like it. But that's it for this simple battle. I do have a bunch of other battles that I'm going to show later in the week. That's going to be a bigger video though. It's the same battle I'm playing over and over again in different ways to experiment with different tactics and strategies. That's a bit of a bigger video, so for now I'll give you this one to tide it over. Otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, do check out the YouTube memberships, the Patreon. Otherwise, I will see you in the future.